Welcome, Cyclone fans, to the latest edition of the Nightcap. It's been a minute, but we're back. We have a new co-host. Well, recurring co-host. I'm your host, Aiden Wyatt, joined by Levi Stevenson, and Nate Schuster has returned.
We made Nate and Matthias get in a fight to figure out who's going to be the co-host on the Nightcap, and Matthias is no longer in the picture.
Yeah. Pour one out.
Yeah.
Or don't. I don't really care.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for having me, guys.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we got some football to talk about, which I suppose we can start with. And, we got a little basketball now. The one game
Sure,
in,
we do have
but
basketball, yeah.
we brought in Cyclone basketball expert Nate Schuster specifically for basketball. So
We don't want to hear your opinion on football, though.
That's fine with me.
All right, Aiden, where are we starting off?
Well, I was sick. I one in the win column. Feeling dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've already gone through the whole. I told myself I wouldn't get too excited if we won, but we won, and now I'm excited.
Yeah.
And
Oh, yeah.
so here we are.
The thing is like they kicked the shit out of West Virginia. I mean, they didn't
Yeah.
they didn't just win that game. They beat the shit out of them. That 31-14, much like the 2018 game, that 31-14 scoreline is that was closer than the game actually was. And I mean, you look at the defense has been the story of the whole season. But I mean, look at that second half. I mean, up until that last drive when they were playing against like the third stringers, they just like John Haycock just like pulled some dudes off campus or something like that. Like he just stood outside Beardsher and grabbed 11 guys.
He actually asked me to play, but I was busy.
Yeah.
So
yeah. That's who West Virginia's first team offense was playing against. And finally they scored and put a drive together. But up until that point, they had 3 yards of offense, which is absurd.
seems good.
I mean, that's an absurd number. And I don't know. You can say all that, but then like the offense did fun things. Like the first half, they did some fun stuff, and then they just decided not to for a while, and we were all getting pissed off. And then they didn't really do much in the third quarter until you get to the block punt, and then all of a sudden everything's fun again. So that's the hard part about this game though is to what to take from it, because like there was lots of stuff in there that you're like, oh, they could definitely keep doing this going forward, like running speed options and stuff like that, which they ran half a dozen of them. I can't remember exactly how many, but probably 6-8 of them or whatever, and they were all successful, every one of them. And Hunter Deckers looked extremely comfortable as the pitch man, is conducting that offense with the speed options. He looked really comfortable doing it, which I'm sure he probably did run some of that in high school, because Iowa high school football does still run options. So he looked comfortable doing it. It got Cartavius Norton and Deion Silas to the edge. I really liked that. I thought it was a good wrinkle that they threw in.
Yeah, one thing worth noting too, there was a certain Iowa State running back who might be in the NFL now who also had a breakout game against West Virginia.
Is it Breece Hall?
Breece Hall, yeah.
Actually, Dave Montgomery's career high rushing yards came against West Virginia in that 2018 game.
So maybe this is a coming out party for Cartavius Norton.
Well, and that's the thing is like he had a good game, but it was like his first real full game of being the
right.
dude.
Yeah, he's been
or whatever.
on injuries so far. So
right. So it's like this will be his game where he kind of breaks into the rotation, like as being especially with, who knows if Jarrell Brock is going to stay healthy. So he it seems like he's trying, and it seems like he may have been ready to go towards the end of that game, but they were just kicking the shit out of him. And Cartavius and Deion Silas both had a hot hand, so there's really no reason to even risk Jarrell. But like, if Jarrell can't stay healthy, Cartavius Norton's going to be the dude, and maybe he just is going to be the dude. I don't know, because like he seems like a guy that you could rely on to be the bell cow. Not a dig at Deion Silas, but probably not the guy you're going to be given 30 carries a game. And is this going to be the time where we say this is where the Cartavius Norton era started? I don't know. I mean, he didn't have the 182 yard or however many yards Brees Hall, like 180 something I think against that Brees Hall had against West Virginia in his bust out, in his breakout game. But like
when he busted, yep.
And he busted. Busted all over West Virginia. And so I had me distracted there for a second. You didn't have the same kind of breakout that Brees Hall did against West Virginia, but he also got to play a bunch of games before West Virginia, whereas Cartavius has been hurt the whole season. So this could be the demarcation point where we decide, this is where Cartavius Norton became the dude.
Be real cool if that was the case.
Well, then the running game needs someone badly. I mean, it's struggled so much this season. I'm really glad to see that that Cartavius seems to be getting into a little bit of a groove now that he's playing more consistently. But two, that they're doing more to get him in space and to let him be Cartavius. Like we said with the speed options, and then they ran that reverse to Jalen Knoll and stuff like that. Just things that are more creative than just
inside zones.
The inside zones, like they just run constantly. They still did run more inside zones than I would like last weekend, but they mix it up, and Deion Silas ended up getting through the line on one of them and took it. I don't know what it was, 38 yards, I think is what it was. So that's notable. The offensive line was better last weekend, doing much better in run blocking. Hopefully that trend continues, but I think the hardest part is that, like, how do you know what to project from this game? Because you got out of the Texas game, they didn't win that one, but they looked better. We thought, well, they can build on this. They can do this the next week, and they can do this. They can keep doing this stuff moving forward, and then they just didn't.
Mm-hmm.
They sat on it for that Texas one for 2 weeks, and then just shit their pants against Oklahoma, and so now you have a really good game against West Virginia, who is a bad defense. Like West Virginia's defense is terrible. Definitely the worst one on the schedule. But they're doing stuff right. So do you project forward saying, well, they're going to keep doing that? Because Oklahoma State is a good team, but their defense was already kind of okay, and now that whole team is depleted or whatever. So this looks like an opportunity to pick up a road game that you thought that, I mean, I know before the season, I think I had it written down as like, this was the only one I was like, this is an L. We're taking a loss here.
Same.
I think most people had that we're losing at Oklahoma State, and that's okay because Oklahoma State's going to be good and they're tough to play.
But they're cooked.
They're cooked.
Thanks for coming out.
Their whole team is injured.
Yeah.
Spencer Sanders is injured. The backup quarterback is horrible. And
what's the status of Spencer Sanders? Is he going to be back this year?
I actually don't know. It sounds like, from what I understand, just from the little bit of stuff I saw from the Oklahoma State folks, is that Gundy's kind of being coy about it. And I don't know. Who knows? But the rest of that team is so banged up. I'm not sure if it matters a ton. But either way, this is still an opportunity this weekend to capitalize on a defense that's going to be gassed. Are they going to do what we think they're going to do, which is build on last week? I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine.
Got a good question from our good friend Brad Black here. Do you think that the play calling has been so vanilla all season because of young guys having trouble adapting and learning the playbook because they're so young?
Now they're starting to get it together and throw more fun plays in there because they're getting a bit. That's probably, I would say that's probably at least a small chunk of it, is just letting the young guys get familiar with the playbook. But I mean, like, the difference though is that if you look at what they did last, even beyond just the option stuff and the reverse and all that stuff, the passing concepts and things that they were running, like with the slip route that Xavier Hutchinson ran on his touchdown, that's stuff that we'd seen from past years and stuff like that. They do it with the tight ends all the time. They used to do it with Allen and stuff like that all the time. That was something we hadn't really seen much up to this point in the season from the receivers or whatever. We knew it was in the playbook and stuff like that. And there's no way you're telling me that Xavier Hutchinson didn't know how to run that play or whatever. So I mean, I'm not. I don't know. I'm not a believer that they were like that the playbook was dumbed down for 3/4 of the season. That seems. I don't know. That seems like a stretch to me. And yeah, I mean this in the best way possible. That sounds kind of like bargaining to me, like finding a way to rationalize, like, oh, there's nothing actually wrong with this. It just took a while to catch up because they're really young and stuff like that. Well, maybe that's part of it, but like, I don't know. To me, there was a lot more than youth at play with the struggles up to this point in the season. Though the youth doesn't help.
Nate, what do you think about all this?
I mean, well, one, for his question, I think it was definitely a part of it to start the year. But once you get past like Iowa's probably the best defense they were going to play all year, and they beat them week 2. Like after that, like you should probably, if you can execute there, you can probably execute anywhere. I don't know why you don't open it up a little.
Now, notably,
sooner.
the offense was still not exactly on fire against Iowa. They just won. Yeah.
Yeah, it was barely, but you would think that.
But they did have that 98-yard or 99-yard drive or whatever it was, and that was well schemed.
Yeah, I think their issue special teams. Like I don't know how
that's one of them. Yeah,
like 7 years, how can there not be a kicker that can consistently kick a 30-yard field goal?
Hey, now, hey, don't be slandering Andrew Mevis here.
I'm just blind squirrel finds a nut.
What?
He was the one.
Okay, fair enough. Cole Netton.
I don't know, man. I don't know how we can lose against Kansas. I'm hurt about that one.
That's good. Yeah. But you're not wrong though that the kicker position has not been super consistent. Now I'm a believer that's because for whatever reason they decided to get all their kickers from Chris Saylor instead of Jamie Cole. But but what's interesting though is one of them they did get was Braden Narvison, who was here and then transferred and then became a Groza finalist at Western Kentucky. So, not sure exactly what happened there.
I'll be honest. We got the one Jamie Cole recruit that really mattered. That would be his own offspring.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, it's like, what are you talking about? Yeah, that's true, but he's not on the team yet.
Nope.
Nope.
Good analysis.
So there's a question. Let's just say Hunter doesn't get like substantially better next season. Is there a QB controversy in Ames?
Not next year, I don't think.
Not next year? I don't think so either. But
maybe a year after, but a lot of things will have to play out.
But a year after, you'd expect Hunter to have either figured it out or
right,
something
yeah.
else. Yeah, something like you'd expect Hunter to figure it out 2 years from now. Whatever, Technically speaking, he'd be eligible for like the draft this year. Not that he's going, obviously, but like, if he got it figured out and was really, really good next year, you could theoretically see him leaving. But
he has a COVID year too, right?
He's got a COVID year. He's got all sorts.
I think technically he could play 3 more years after this, couldn't he?
Because he's a redshirt sophomore, so sophomore, junior, senior, COVID. He could play 3 more years after this year. Yeah.
But if he got a medical redshirt, he could be here for.
He could be here for 4 more years after this.
Or he could pick up Nate's extra year of eligibility that he didn't use.
I'll donate.
There you go. Brees Hall's got one. Brees Hall's got and Dave Montgomery both have a year of eligibility laying around. And Hakeem Butler. You get an old alumni to donate here. Matt Nelson says he'll be here for 3 more years. So, congratulations, Matt. All right. Anyways, what else we got? You got any more football stuff?
Do you want to do a score prediction for this week?
Yeah, we should. Nate.
Right.
Well, in the spirit of low-scoring football and knowing that Oklahoma State's done for, Iowa State 14-13, we push.
14-13. See, I haven't recorded Down the Pipe and Natty Light yet this week. That's going to happen tomorrow. So I haven't actually formulated my score prediction yet. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to be a giant idiot here, and I'm going to say the offense keeps doing something. Just the dumbest boy in school. So I'm going to say 24-17. Yeah, 24-17. Good guys. Oklahoma State's got too many missing pieces. There's no way. Actually, you know what? This defense ain't giving up 17 points. That's stupid. 21-10.
Damn, that's what I was going to say. But I guess we do have a tradition of both being the dumbest boys in schools at the same time.
We are both the dumbest boys in school.
I'll go 24-10.
Do you have Aiden gambling picks for this week? Are we doing Cubs Corner? No, we don't.
Sorry, I was busy today.
Horrendous. All right.
I know I'm the worst.
Just the worst. Yeah. We moving to basketball?
Yeah. So I guess basketball's back.
Basketball is back.
Beat
Love that.
the Pooey out of Ooey Pooey. So
Hell yeah.
I don't know what really do with this game, considering that they're one of the worst teams in the country, but 29 turnovers is a lot to force regardless of who you're playing.
29 is how many they forced?
29, yeah.
God bless.
It's kind of scary, though. What do we have for turnovers? We had 14, 15.
Yeah, that is something kind of concerning, but
it's worth noting that they're young, and it's the first game of the season.
Yeah, they're still meshing, I guess. They held.
Actually, they're not really that young. They're just new.
That is true.
So, Nate, what's your analysis from this?
I'm looking at box scores right now. I just want to see some stuff. I think it's the biggest thing. The biggest thing that I saw was I was surprised that Gabe was coming off the bench. I don't know if you guys were aware of that. I guess
from what I understand is it was kind of like a let's get a spark off the bench type of thing. Kind of like how the Clippers brought Jamal Crawford off the bench forever. That kind of thing.
I mean, when I was there, we brought off Lindell off the bench, and it worked just fine. Like,
was that for the same reason, or was it like spark off the bench type of thing?
Somewhat, I think. I mean, I wasn't really in the
loop
meetings. Yeah. Just kind of had me there on the bench, like, all right, go out there. But
kept the seat warm. Hey.
Yes. That pine was always hot.
It was hot?
I got swass, dude. I mean, shot decent from the free throw line. Could use a little bit of an uptick from three, but I mean, I think Caleb doesn't go 1 for 6 every game. But I mean, looking at last year, you never know. It's because we were so streaky.
Right.
It'll also be interesting because like this game is probably going to be one where the coaches are not really going to show a ton of tape because this Ooey Pooey is so terrible that's not just like throw the tape away. Might show some teaching points on offense. That'd be about it.
You know what's funny? I'm looking at Ken Palm right now. In the third most used lineup from last game was Eli King, Demarion Watson, Conrad Hawley, Robert Jones, and Hassan Ward. Had Robert Jones and Hassan Ward and Conrad Hawley, whatever. That was our third most used lineup from the other game.
That was 4 minutes of the game.
That feels unsustainable.
Yeah. So
the interesting one, though, we probably should mention that was Jaron Holmes. He was the leading scorer. His game, minus the ball handling, reminds me a lot of THT, actually, of Taylor Horton Tucker. Just a really good finisher at the rim. He's kind of long, kind of stocky. Just good finisher at the rim. He's a good enough 3-point shooter, which to me that's kind of what Taylor Horton Tucker was, really. Just really, really good finisher on the rim, but just a good enough 3-point shooter type thing.
Yeah, I'm excited to see him and Oshun together. I think that's going to be a really fun duo.
Yeah, I like those two dudes. Oshun's great big. I think it helps a lot.
He impressed me a lot.
I think the coolest part about him was on inbound plays when we're on defense.
Just stealing balls.
If he is so big
Yeah.
when he puts his arms out, that's going to be tough for anyone to
Dude's
get around.
just stealing inbound passes from 3 feet away from the passer. That's awesome. Also, actually, I would say my favorite part, though, is the fact that they're using him as a passer out of the high post. Like a legitimately good passer out of the high post. Not just like we're giving to George Condon, we're running a wheel play 9,000 times around him. Like we're using Ocean as a passer out of the high post, like kind of like we used to use George type of thing, you know, where he's actually kind of facilitating some offense out of the high post. And that was encouraging specifically because that's not something that Iowa State's had in a hot minute.
Maybe ever.
George.
Well, yeah,
but
like at that level.
Sure. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah. And just his defensive and rebounding presence too. I mean, he's a legitimately good big dude, and then like it's good to see that because both now the men and the women both have really really good post presence down low.
Suarez looked good.
Suarez is really.
She's so freaking good.
She's so good. Is this her only year?
Yeah.
Because seeing her
Sucks,
play with if she got to play on the same team as Audi Crooks, that'd be
Cheat code.
Yoicks.
So yeah, I don't think NAI didn't get a COVID year. So
horrendous.
Yeah.
That's so backwards.
That's weird. Yeah. But yeah, so Jaron Holmes and Ocean Ashuni, I thought they were both really good. I think Jaron Holmes needs to figure out something to not force him to be such a heavy ball handler. His handles are not as the kids would describe as tight. They are not great.
Good use of the word tight there.
I think that's kind of the story with this team, though, is we have a few two guards that objectively can't really dribble the ball. Like, I don't love Gabe dribbling. I don't love Jaron dribbling. I love Caleb, but I don't really love him dribbling either.
The only person on this team that I saw that looked like a legitimate, comfortable point guard was Taman Lipsey.
Which is a very good thing, considering that was his first game.
It is a good thing, especially just because I think he's gonna be really good. But he's gonna be like, I could see Taman being like the kind of guy that just sticks around for 4 years and is just really good for 4 years type of thing, like a Monte Morris type of thing. But he looked comfortable facilitating an offense. I mean, he's a good defender. He's a good dribbler, good passer. Like, you know, he'll develop a shooting stroke. That's I really like. I was very happy with Taman Lipsey's first start.
Yeah, it sucks that he got into foul trouble. So only played 17 minutes, but
right.
In those 17 minutes, he was very good.
That's the only thing that scares me with him is there is only one true point guard since Williams went down with the Achilles.
Yeah,
Big 12 play, that might be an issue because, I mean, there's always good guard play everywhere in this conference. But if I was going to make a player comp to Taman Lipsey, I think he's a smaller Nick Weiler-Babb. Like, he's not going to be the guy that is going to go immediately to the pros like Tyrese or anyone like that. But he's going to be a guy that's like, he's going to give you consistent, you know what you're getting out of him. Might not take the most shots because he's going to be creating for others, but he's going to be a good presence on the court that you're going to want to have on the court.
Nick Weiler-Babb specifically was a from the outside looking in was a somewhat maddening player to watch. He was really good, like triple double machine, but like his sometimes he did not push the pace on offense at all. He liked to slow it down and run some half court stuff when he was running point. At least that's the way it felt looking from the outside in. So like that was the only part of Nick Weiler-Babb I didn't love, was that he just refused to push the tempo sometimes.
Some of that was coaching.
Oh, I believe that. I 100% believe that. Yeah. But still.
Yeah.
In the moment, I was mad at Nick Weiler-Babb.
I'm a lifelong Nick Weiler-Babb truther, so I'm all for the player comps to have
Nick Weiler-Babb was a great player. I thought he was probably underrated for what he was. He was really good. But yeah, no, I think that's a good comp though. Just a slightly shorter Nick Weiler bat, basically. And he's like another guy that, like you said, a guy that's going to stick around for a while too. I think. I like that. So I mean, overall though, I'm more encouraged about the offense than I thought I was going to be. I was expecting a little bit uglier offense, to be honest, but it looked fine. Gabe looks. I will say that Gabe looks like a more comfortable shooter. It seems like he's probably going to be less prone to the 27 points and then 0 points type of thing, like we saw a lot last year, where he just
maybe that's the bench thing. That's probably why he's coming off.
I could see that. I could absolutely see that. That would make.
But does it really matter if he's coming off the bench, start the game? He still played 32 minutes.
Right.
That is true.
The other night.
Yeah, so we're getting to the point now too where like just the way basketball is anymore is it doesn't even really matter who starts the game, it's just who plays the most.
Yeah.
It's really who finishes.
Or finishes.
Who's in that last media.
Right.
Those last 4 minutes.
Right. Which that's you're looking at like Jazz, Gabe, Ocean, Jaren Holmes, and then whoever else, Caleb or somebody.
Probably Taman, right?
Or Taman, yeah.
Gotta have a ball handler.
I mean, he's just got to stay out of foul. He's got to stay out of foul trouble. That's
100%. I just feel a little hesitant to look too much into this game because it is IUPUI. Like, I think we'll get a great sense of what the team's really going to look like when we get to the PK 85.
Are you telling me that North Carolina A&T is not going to be it?
No.
However, third on the schedule here is UW Milwaukee coming back to replicate that win at Hilton Coliseum. But we'll see how they have to get past Cardinal Stritch in their next game.
NAI school, Milwaukee. They are.
You've heard of Cardinal Stritch?
Yeah, it's well, I'm from Milwaukee, so.
Oh, okay.
That's
fair enough.
But that game could be close. Milwaukee's terrible.
Nice crossover opponent. They play IUPUI later in the season. Twice. They're in the same conference, apparently. Look at that.
Yeah, Horizon League.
Yep.
God, that's going to be... They'll kill Milwaukee. I don't even be worried about it.
And then they got Villanova in the first round of the PK Invitational.
I hope we just steal one there.
If we can steal one, that's a huge win. Of course, who knows how good Villanova is going to be without without Jay Wright there. But I'm sure they'll probably be good. But
they have a lot of returners, don't they?
They still got so they still got a bunch of good players. Yeah, they'll be fine. But maybe it's an opportunity to grab one. Do we play?
Granted, around this time last year, I remember we said that in Brooklyn, I hope we just get one.
Yeah,
win the whole damn thing.
Won the whole damn thing. Yeah. We play St. John's as well. Does Matt Abdelmassih still work for St. John's? I know he did for a while, but or for some reason maybe I thought that he got fired. I don't remember.
Is Posh Alexander still there at St. John's?
Alexander. Let's see. So Matt Abdelmassih is not there, and Posh Alexander is also not there.
It's a win. Good player.
Let's see, Posh Alexander. He. Oh wait, you mean on the team? Oh
yeah.
Oh. I have no idea who. Oh yeah, Posh Alexander still is on the team. There you go.
Don't they have Curbelo too? They have a lot of transfers. Yeah,
yep.
I think there's a weird stat out there that Andre Curbelo in like 4 years at Illinois made 3 threes.
Huh. But anyways, so yeah, like you said though, I think you can't really take too much away from the IUPUI game. I mean, that'd have been like us projecting after Iowa State beat Southeast Missouri, and we were assuming that the offense is going to be more vertical. Boy, did we look like idiots after that.
I think it is a good thing though that there's nothing to get out of this game, because if this was close, it's like, man, is this going to be a long year? But
Well, if it was close against a team that you should have kicked the shit out of, then you're like, don't love that.
that's what I'm saying. Yeah. So
Now, granted, like Steve Prohm's team that lost to Milwaukee turned out to be fine. Wherever they weren't world beaters, they're fine, right? Try to remember.
I think so. I mean, the team that lost to Florida A&M on New Year's Eve.
Oh yeah, that
wasn't
was
fine.
great. Yeah, that was not fine.
it was very not fun.
They were 12-20. Let's see. Because what year did they lose to Milwaukee? They lost to Milwaukee in 21.
I think they lost to Milwaukee in 16-17 or 17-18.
No, it wasn't 16-17. They still had Monte back then. They lost to Milwaukee in 18-19, which had been Lindell Wigginton's freshman year. Yeah.
I was going to say, I thought it was the year before I got there.
Yep. That was Lindell Wigginton, Donovan Jackson, Cameron Lard, Terrence Lewis, Nick Weiler-Babb, Zoran Talley, Jeff Beverly, Solomon Young, Hans Brace, and Jacoby Long. There's a name for you, Jacoby Long. Out of Mustang, Oklahoma. Anyways. So, do you have your expectations changed at all for this season based on? I know we're saying not to project too much off this IUPUI game, but Jaron Holmes is a better scorer than I anticipated that he would be. So for me, that's a plus. Does it add a lot of wins to the schedule? I don't know. I mean, depends. Yeah, to succeed in the Big 12, you got to have a really good right hook. You got to have something like that. You got to be ready to fight. So I mean, like actually fight in the octagon. But I don't know.
If this team had a fighter, though, it'd be Big Rob Energy.
Big Rob Energy.
It was kind of funny. No one really knew what the PA guy was saying in the student section at first. But then, I found it on Twitter. And it still didn't make a whole lot of sense. But
yeah, it feels like they don't know what that that meme is, apparently.
There's a disconnect.
There's a disconnect.
Yeah. It was just kind of funny. When I texted Schuster that they were doing that, he said, "Is he a WWE wrestler now?"
It's like the Big Show coming in.
Yeah. They should play the what's the theme of the WWE? Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yes.
With the breaking glass every time that Rob Jones checks in.
Glass. Yeah.
Oh my God, it's Rob Jones.
By God, that's Rob Jones's music.
No, what they need to do is play the clip from the Bourne movies. Like, Jesus Christ,
it's Rob Jones.
It's Robert Jones. No, that's wrong. That's the wrong theme song. But that's what they need to do is do the Bourne identity line.
I'd say do something different every game. One day,
that's
Jaws,
what you should do. And then one game he drops down like a bank robber from the ceiling, and it's like the Mission Impossible theme. All that.
Put him in the jumbotron, and he goes through the jumbotron.
he parachutes out like an Army Ranger.
Doesn't warm up. He's in the jumbotron like 2 hours before game time.
There you go.
That's what they should do.
Yeah. Another one, it's just a drone flying around with an iPad hanging off the bottom with Robert Jones' picture on it.
Just dropping off free tickets. Gets the crowd full. But I don't know if this does too much for where they project. I mean, I still think if they can finish top 6 in the Big 12, top 7, you're going to make the tournament for sure.
It'll be tough.
But yeah, this is not a down year for the conference at all.
I mean, it's like
K-State looks good. They usually stink.
I was going to say Kansas State. Are they going to be are they the theoretical punching bag?
I think it's probably Oklahoma.
Marquise Noel is really good though, so I guess they're going to be fine. You think it's going to be Oklahoma?
I think Oklahoma's going to be bad. They lost to Sam Houston State in a bye
They
game.
did not look good.
I
think they would have
don't know
been
about West
decent this
Virginia.
year. I don't know anything about West Virginia either, but I think Oklahoma would have been decent this year if Elijah Harkless didn't leave. Because wasn't there a stretch last year where they were kind of decent, and then he got hurt, and then they got bad again?
Yeah, I'm not a big
That
fan of the
sounds
Grove
right.
twins carrying your team either. Like,
Yeah,
They do
they're
still have
nice like
Tanner
side
Groves.
pieces, but I don't know.
They do still have the Grove twins. Or brothers.
brothers,
I don't know. Are they
or
twins?
yeah.
Are they just brothers?
Who knows?
Oh, I don't know. Well, one is a whole inch shorter and 24 pounds lighter, so who knows? One twin's been eating a lot more Doritos.
And forgot to buy a few razors.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's still like none of these. It looks like
If I had to guess, it'd be Westbah and Oklahoma are going to be the
problem is West
punching
Virginia
bags.
is always fucking horrible to play against because that damn press. But I don't know who their scorers are going to be. There's not much left there for scoring. Oh, they have Joe Toussaint now. I forgot about that. The Iowa transfer.
Tucson?
Tucson? Yeah,
Did
sorry.
you say Toussaint?
I said Toussaint. Tucson. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Or Trey Mitchell, maybe?
Trey Mitchell. I was a big fan of him. I kind of hoped that, or I was hoping that he'd come to Iowa State, but, well, when he was transferring from UMass, that was.
Right.
Isn't there a Trey Mitchell on Texas?
Same guy.
That was the Texas.
He transferred to West Virginia, yeah.
Oh, jeez. I'm an idiot.
Well, I mean, you're right. There was Trey Mitchell.
You're not wrong. West Virginia on Ken Palm is predicted to go 13-16. So that maybe that's your Kansas State's 14-15. Maybe I don't know. Maybe West Virginia's your punching bag.
What do they
Where
have?
are we at?
They have us at 15-14, 6-12 in conference.
That puts us at the 8. Not ideal. I think we. They have Oklahoma ahead of us, really?
Barely. So I'm looking at the projected 2023 standings. They've got Oklahoma projected at 8-10 in conference, and us at 6-12.
Really?
They have us, West Virginia, and Kansas State all projected at 6-12 in conference. They have Oklahoma and Oklahoma State at 8-10, TCU and Texas Tech at 9-9, and then Kansas, Baylor, and Texas Kansas and Baylor at 12-6, Texas at 13-5. So Texas
Actually, kind of like the Texas. I like the Texas pick there. I think Kansas is going to be like the 5. I think Kansas has a down year in Kansas standards.
But they've got Grady Dick.
Good name. That's about it.
I about lost it though on Twitter. The Rock Chalk podcast account tweeted. I need to find this tweet again. So Grady Dick threw down a big dunk or something like that, and I need to find that thing. It was so damn funny. He says, I came back just in time to see the McCullough dunk, and then my computer crashed. Then got back to see the Dick slam.
That's good.
That is good, yeah.
I was like, you got back to see the what now?
I saw another tweet that said he'd be like a perfect Duke Blue Devil.
Grady Dick.
Yeah,
that is a really good hateable.
That's a
Duke
good
player.
hateable. That's a good punchable last name if I've ever heard of one. Yeah.
He's got a punchable face.
Does he?
No offense if Grady Dick is watching right now, or his family, but
Does he? I'm gonna look. Does he actually have a punchable face? Oh, that's not. There we go. Grady Dick. Let's see here. Oh yeah, he does. Oh boy. Looks like he might have had a biting problem when he was in elementary school.
Who would you peg for most punchable? Grady Dick or Christian Brown?
Let's see. I got to look up Christian Brown here.
I'd probably go Brown.
That's what I was thinking
pull
too.
up? Can you pull up? Okay, yeah. Christian Braun's
He talks more though. Like I think
that's A tier. That's A tier punchable face right there.
I actually ran into him at an AU tournament this year, and
Did you
a lot
punch him in
worse
the
in
face?
person.
So he's a lot worse in person.
Like, in terms of
How punchable his face is.
yeah.
He's
Trying to think about
somehow
how to
his
say
face
that
is
without
more punchable in person.
yeah.
I think it's his personality, honestly. I don't think it's
Is he a
actually
dick?
his face. I think it's just he's kind of just arrogant.
I mean, like,
He did win a national title though.
I don't
Yeah.
care.
He was
Yeah,
the
he got
judge
it.
of the dunk contest. That's why he was at this AU tournament.
Oh, so like I'm like looking
I
at this
think he
picture
was-
right here, like that. That's a pretty punchable picture right there.
Looks like he already got punched.
Yeah. Oh well. Not all of us can have unpunchable faces.
Don't get ahead of yourself there, Levi.
I know. I set that one up for you. But anyways, let's see. I did see. So today was National Signing Day, and Brad was talking about Omaha Billu signing. That's pretty sweet.
Oh wait, one more thing I want to talk about before we completely leave Big 12 basketball talk. Are we just writing off Porter Mosier now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I'll be honest, I still think he's a decent coach. It was one game. Am I gonna be the last one off the wagon here?
The problem is he got space jammed by the nun at Loyola, and he lost all of his coaching powers when he left.
Fair enough.
I think he lost Jesus.
Lost Jesus.
He lost Jesus on the way to Oklahoma.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know if that roster is really doing much in the Big 12. Like,
Plus, he has two last names. That's already an L.
It's also true. I'd rather have two first names.
Yeah. Two first names is much better than two last names.
Jake Paul, Logan Paul.
Aiden Wyatt.
That is
I
two
guess
first
so,
names.
yeah.
You're right. Yeah.
I remember the first article I wrote for Wide Right. The first comment was just two first names. Might as well just call him Ricky Bobby. It's stuck with me ever since.
That's an all-timer
That's
comment right there. That's how you start strong on your writing career, is when that's your first comment. Yeah. This is a good comment here. So can't take anything from the IUPI game, but the length of Ward, Oshuni, and Watson. That was one thing I did notice during the game, is that this team has humongous length.
Yeah.
They're super long. Like,
I was really impressed with Hassan Ward too.
I actually was too. I was like, I wasn't sure what to expect from him, because I think he's just kind of he's the less polished of him and Ocean. But like, I thought Hassan Ward was really good. He looked comfortable enough out there.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, IUPUI, but thought he looked all right.
He still looks really long.
Yeah.
Which is going to be awesome to have.
Oh yeah, I mean the team has a ton of length. Like I said, one of the things that reminded me, that he reminded me of Taylor Horton Tucker, with Jaron Holmes, and I thought and that's part of this. He has really long arms. He's gonna he has a chance to be a really good defender out in the wing there. Being able to contest shots a little bit easier, jumping passing lanes, all that good stuff. Having that much length on your team can help cover up a lot of things on defense, especially. And because like early in the game, I know we saw there was a lot of defensive rotations that were pretty slow. They weren't always quite in the right place and things like that. But then as the game went on, that they clamped up pretty good. And we got to really see him show off that length and really suffocate IUPUI. Again,
IUPUI, yeah.
but I was encouraged by it. So I mean, the length is a huge asset that this team has that last year's team didn't, and it never hurts to have length. So
Length
yeah,
and
they definitely
strength.
won a few more games last year if they have this roster.
Right.
Which is good for this year because they probably win more games with this roster.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm. I think it's a very real possibility that this team is better than last year's. But I don't know if it'll be that, or even if they do make the tournament, if it'll be a Sweet 16 run like it was a year ago. I think the stars just kind of aligned at the right time.
Yeah.
For
they got hot when it mattered. I mean, they got hot when it mattered. Yeah.
And we had a great draw, like as the Wisconsin resident
right
here.
there. Yeah.
Wisconsin sucks.
Yeah.
Like that was the best 3 seed we could have asked for, and that was awesome that we beat Johnny Davis, and now he's a bust. It's like, God, he's over too.
Gabe's son.
No hard feelings there.
Yeah.
No, but also discovering that one guy from Wisconsin. What the hell is his name? Brad Davis, and just a tremendously hateable basketball player.
He's number one, Mount Rushmore for punchable faces.
Yeah.
It was kind of funny.
Washington.
Him, Jordan Bohannon. Trying to think who else would be up there. Punchable faces. Grady Dick.
Grady Dick's on there. He's more of a Teddy Roosevelt right now.
Who's your four? You don't think he's on there?
No, I think he's the Teddy Roosevelt of the Mount Rushmore.
So who's the fourth? Who's the fourth on your Mount Rushmore of punchable faces in college basketball?
All time.
Well, if it's all time, it's Grayson Allen, right?
Yeah, has to be.
Yeah.
Okay.
Even though I'm a Bucks fan, but yeah.
Yeah, but he's got an incredibly punchable face.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
Grayson Allen.
Bill Self.
Bill Self. Are we allowed to have coaches?
You know what's funny though? So when I was at Iowa State, this would have been probably been 2013, 2014 maybe. So when I was at Iowa State at basketball games, I always sat on the west side at the student section in the bottom row in the corner seat, right, the closest seat to the opposing bench. That's where I sat every single game for like 4 years. Because I got to Hilton like 6-10 hours before the game started. And one game we were in there, and we were in there. We were like heckling Kansas during warm-ups and shit or whatever. And Bill Self came over to us and said, "You guys gonna give us hell today?" We're like, "Hell yeah!" And he was like, "That's good," or whatever. Like so, like I respect Bill Self. I mean, like I don't like him, but I respect him because he's a really good
always
coach.
Been
he's also just a kind of
he's
generally a pretty cool guy. Like he's not like a dickhead or anything like that. He's kind of got a lot of Nick Saban vibes to him, where he's just really good at what he does, and he's more critical of himself and his own team than he ever will be of another team or whatever. So it's like he kind of gives off those kind of vibes. So I don't know. I respect Bill Self. I love to beat him. I love to hate him, but like I don't dislike him like I do Fran McCaffrey or something like that. Like
right.
where I both dislike him and have no respect for him type of thing.
I like that. I mean, I always enjoyed going through the handshake lines, be like, all right, this is Bill Self, you got to, firm right here.
Yeah, you want to impress him when you're going through the lines.
Fran McCaffrey, you might like right in the balls, but
just give him a little flick as you walk by.
Yeah. Like there's no respect there for me. Or the entire Iowa University of Nepotism.
You have an entire department for that now. That's all they do. Just reinforce nepotism. But who knows? Maybe they'll finally send Brian Ferentz off they'll send him out to pasture.
Who knows?
The rumor going around was they were trying to find a spot. They were trying to find some NFL team to pawn him off to, so they didn't have to fire him, but they're just going to get rid of him.
Are they going to pay his
or put him on
salary,
timeout, make him do chores? I don't know.
Take away his iPad.
Take away his iPad. Take away his TV privileges. Like Kirk just threatened to take the door off his bedroom. If it don't score more points, he loses TV for a week.
No more YouTube with food.
He can only watch YouTube Kids from now on.
Yeah.
All right, but top four, it's got to be Grayson Allen, Brad Davis, and Jordan Bohannon. Who was our fourth one?
Who was our fourth one? Grady Dick. Well, I said Grady Dick, but maybe that's not. He's.
I don't know if he's all time.
He's not
give him a season.
So if you had Grayson Allen, Jordan Bohannon, Brad Davis.
Is it Hollywood Higgins?
No, we're going to stick with players.
I was gonna say that's a sneaky good pick there.
That's a good pick, but there's probably like if you're gonna do like a punchable refs, like that's their own Mount Rushmore type of thing.
Yeah.
Who's the fourth most punchable face after Brad Davison, Jordan Bohannon, and Grayson Allen? Who's another punchable face?
Aaron Kraft, done.
Yep,
that's it right there.
Good one. Yep.
That's the Mount Rushmore of punchable faces in college basketball history. There's probably a lot of like North Carolina fans that would say Christian Laettner, but like I wasn't around for Christian Laettner, so I don't really care.
Yeah.
I mean, like I was, but I didn't care about Christian Laettner when he was his thing. But like, I feel really good with those four though. I feel very, very confident about those four punchable faces.
Yeah, especially for the last 6 years.
Within the last 20 years, that's probably a pretty safe Mount Rushmore for that. Yeah, I feel good about that. Do we got anything else we're covering today?
I don't know. I'm enjoying thinking about who we would punch in the face. So
I know.
Which
Which Iowa football assistant coaches have the most punchable face?
who of the coaching staff who might have a dad also on the coaching staff would be the most punchable?
Who might have been a practice squad player?
Which is the more punchable family, the McCaffreys or the Ferences?
You get more hits in with the McCaffreys.
That's true. That's true. But you get better. You might get better value for your punches with the Ferences.
Yeah, but the Ferences might fight back though. They got a lot of linemen in that family.
No, they won't. Brian's got a glass jaw. Are you kidding me? There's no way that guy can fight. Like he was probably the guy throwing ice cubes at Jordan Bohannon. Like that's Brian Ferentz.
Do you guys think it's funny? This is off topic here, but do you guys think it's funny that the Iowa Wolves are just slowly becoming the spot where the professional Hawkeyes go to now because they can't really make it?
Yeah, I am enjoying that. To be fair, though, isn't Lindo Wigginton also an Iowa Wolf?
He was. He got cut. He's on the Wisconsin herd now, but they'll probably bring him back up again.
Gotcha. Okay.
Ooh, Cyclone
actually,
legend
here you
AJ
go.
Green.
Here you go. Let's add a third option: the Ferences, the McCaffreys, or the Brands brothers. Which one is the most punchable?
Ooh.
Now, caveat here: they're not going to fight back, no matter who it is, because if they're going to fight back, the Brands brothers are clearly the worst option.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Clearly the worst option. But assuming they're not fighting back, you get to punch someone in the face. Are you punching the McCaffreys? Are you punching the Ferences? Or are you punching the Brands?
McCaffrey's for me all day.
I think I'd go
chance that there's
Brands.
bias involved here, Nate?
No.
You're taking the Brands, Aiden?
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna lead with the Brands too. They're just next level dickheads. Like they're just horrible.
Can you pull up a picture of them? Because I actually don't know their face. Because I might
here.
change my answer. We might.
Yeah,
we
let's
might
see. Let's
full
pull
sweep
Tom,
this.
Let's pull up Tom.
Also,
Brands here.
to remind you, they're both like 5 foot.
They're both like 5'4" at the tallest. Like they're tiny.
Are we punching them or kicking them?
You have to give them an uppercut. Let's see.
Solid
here.
knee.
Okay, so there's both brothers actually. Let's see here. Both brothers right next to each other. There's both Brands brothers. There's Tom Brands right there. Look at that. He's just asking for a knuckle.
They're already getting punched. Look.
They look like they already did get punched. Look how flat his face is.
Look at the picture right next to it. They're punching each other.
That's true. Oh yeah, right there. Look at that. I think that might answer it right there. Even the Brands want to punch each other.
Yeah.
I think we're clean sweeping.
This has got to be the Brands, right? It's got to be.
Has to be.
Yeah. Look at that. Brian Ferentz can't even score in the most punchable face contest.
How much hair product do you think he uses per week? 1 tin?
How big's your tin? Like, I mean, you're talking like 10, or are we talking like 10?
Second one.
like a hockey puck.
Yeah.
It's just, and then just take the tin off.
He takes a spoon and just,
He just puts the tin on his head like a yarmulke and and then just pulls it off, and it's just a wad there. Just,
yeah, it's like the cranberry sauce on Thanksgiving. You're just smacking the back of the can trying to get it out.
or he's got his little can of a hair product, but he does it like a chew can, where it just like clacks in his hands like a chew can. Just,
Puts whatever's left in his lip. No wonder he can't run it off until that brain damage.
To be fair, though, Brian Ferentz absolutely could have been dropped off the table as a kid. That would explain his play calling.
Did you eat paint chips as a kid?
Kirk Ferentz is like, I'm going to have to run the ball here in about 30 years. Let's give him the paint chips.
God.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm not. I kind of lost the thread on this.
And we're bouncing all over the place.
Yeah. Oh, boy.
All right. Well, you got anything else?
I think I'm good.
All right. Well, for Nate Schuster, Levi Stevenson, I'm Aiden Wyatt. Go Cyclones.